So if we want our lives to be valued at £50,000, we have to say that your life should be valued at £50,000 because you're our neighbour. Now, would you agree that that is fairer than what we've just found in the Islamic law? You guys, the Sikhs, might be lucky to get anything at all because you're Sikh, right? Do you agree that that is unjust? If the Jewish state turned the Dome of the Rock into the Jewish temple, would that be Islamophobia? Would that be wrong?
Jewish is a new people.
Answer the question. According to Islamic law, if a Muslim kills a Christian, and then
Is that a bad thing?
I don't believe I actually have to answer that question. So now his rationalization is that we will discriminate legally against Christians to encourage them to the truth. Isn't that compulsion? No, don't change the subject. Answer the question.
But anyway,
Christians, what Christians turned into Deus. I support the Christians.
6 months, 7 months.
They liberated Christian lives from Muslim oppression and occupation. And the excesses of the Crusades are condemned. The excesses of the Crusades.
And everywhere they massacred Muslims. You know, that is past. So what are you after?
So Hagia Sophia has been turned into a mosque this week. That's not in the past.
That is Turkish land. That is Turkey.
The Hagia Sophia belongs to the Orthodox Church.
But it is in the side of enshrined.
Does not matter.
Look, in Spain there are mosques.
If the state turned a mosque into a church in this country, would you say it was Islamophobia?
Your Qur'an says that
Yes, I would say.
So when a Muslim state turns a Christian church into a mosque, is that Christophobia?
No, but again, it's up to the owner of the country.
It's a prejudice.
This is
It's a prejudice when Christians do it to Muslims, but it's acceptable when Muslims do it to Christians.
Okay,
That's what he just said.
he said that.
wrong. Let's try this again. Let's try this
Make it clear
again.
next time.
Okay, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Right? Logically. If the British government says we're going to turn Regent's Park Mosque into a Christian cathedral, is that Islamophobia?
No, they should do it. It is their country.
They should do it.
So it's not Islamophobia. You never say Islamophobia.
No, we don't say. But
You do say. You would say. We all know you would
You
say.
know,
You say that.
7
I think
years
you're lying right now.
7 years ago, they stopped a mosque being built in Islam.
Yes. Yeah.
Muslims, they didn't, they just accept that. This is not their land.
That's agreed. Yeah, that's agreed.
So what I'm saying.
But if they turned
Dome of the Rock. If they turn it into a church.
If the Jewish state turned the Dome of the Rock into the Jewish temple, would that be Islamophobia? Would that be wrong?
Jewish is a new people.
Answer the question.
Answer that question, please.
Not my question. Not my question. Not my question.
No, that's different.
It's a perfectly fair question. If the Jewish state, there you go.
All I'm saying.
But he's trying to say it's not Christophobic to turn Hagia Sophia Church into a mosque.
When I see your tone of voice.
Look, you asked me at the beginning of this, can I respect Muslims? Of course I do. I respect this guy. Because he's agreeing that turning Hagia Sophia Church into a mosque is wrong.
Yeah, we know
Just say it's wrong.
I don't know who says it. They did it.
Just say it's wrong.
No.
It's a fact, bro.
Why is wrong? Why is wrong?
Because the hadith, even Umar al-Khattab said, he said never turn a mosque to a church. Or something that's similar. Yeah?
Anyway.
No. So what they did in Turkish, which is Mustafa Kemal, he was not a Muslim by the way. He turned this what's his name? This cathedral into a museum, which is wrong.
All I'm saying,
supposed to be
excuse me.
a church for the
Thank you,
Christians.
sir. Bro, you're a good man. Good man.
Because when I see that you are tone, the voice, the anger you
Going
show
the wrong way to the hospital.
against Muslims.
Why should I not
And
be
I say to
angry?
myself, oh my God, you might,
Why should I not be angry about the
if you
desecration
are
of the
a
church?
mayor or a
explain to us,
governor,
Uncle,
you
explain to
will
us.
kill persecute Muslims.
Why should I not be angry about the desecration of the
Now I'm
church?
going to ask you the same question.
Yeah.
When the French went to Algeria
Yep.
and turned mosque to a church, was it wrong? Yes. Thank you. So now we are consistent.
So, you are coming with the peace, or you're just coming steering problem among the Muslims?
I think
What is that your agenda?
my agenda is this. I'm going to
What
stay.
do you want?
I'm going to tell you.
So,
Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa.
You ask
You
a
just asked a
gentleman,
question.
let him answer.
okay, okay.
Yeah? If you ask a question, you got to listen to the answer, bro. That's how it works. Right?
Go.
My agenda is this: Christians need to stand up for themselves. And if standing up for themselves means that they end up in confrontation, that's what's got to happen. It doesn't mean that we go looking for trouble. It just means that we don't be a doormat when trouble comes to us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but
Is there anything wrong with that?
To your luck,
Is
the
there anything wrong
majority
with
of
Hold
Europeans,
on.
they are not Christian.
You've heard my agenda now.
But
Is there anything
the
wrong with that?
majority
Is there
of-
anything wrong with my
No,
agenda?
No, no.
There you go.
Yeah,
There's
thank you.
nothing wrong with my
I
agenda.
say, I think you have got this jealousy.
Do you think there's anything wrong with my agenda?
So far, so good.
Do you think there's anything wrong? Do you?
As long as
Exactly. When people hear my agenda, no one's got a problem with it.
I don't.
Yeah.
As long as people, Christians and Muslims, they don't force people
How is the
to.
product?
Prove
Good,
it.
good man. Yeah, that's
As
good.
long as
In the
Christians
Middle
and
East-
Muslims, they don't force people to be Christians or to be Muslims. And
Iraq-
unfortunately, it happened in history. It happened.
Yes, Islam definitely
In
forced
Iraq,
Christians to be
look.
Muslim.
What about the Christians?
Yes,
thank you.
But the difference is, thank you.
What's the
But the difference is, Christianity doesn't teach that. Islam does.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So when they
Shall I prove it?
Yeah, no problem. When they in the slavery trade, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You understand? You know the code of the black code?
Bro, what's that got to do with my point?
It does, because the black code, in the second alinea or the seventh alinea, they say you have to evangelize by force the black. Yes.
Okay,
So this
so
is
here's
a
the difference.
compulsory.
Here's the
This is-
difference.
What's the difference?
Christianity,
It's a crime against.
Christianity does not teach that. Islam does.
Exactly.
Really? If it does, show me the proof then.
Brilliant. I'll show you the proof.
Yeah,
I'll
show
show
it.
you the proof.
Yeah,
Here's the
show
proof.
What about
One
South
second.
America?
One second.
What about
One
South
second.
America?
Okay, you know the hadith. What are the three reasons that a Muslim can kill a Muslim?
No. You tell it.
I know. Tell me.
All right, well, tell us then.
No, tell it.
This is your claim.
Oh dear. Right,
come
so
on.
here's the three reasons that Muhammad gives in Sahih al-Bukhari.
Okay.
One,
Okay.
that a Muslim kills someone without just cause. Two, that a Muslim that a Muslim
Listen.
that a Muslim commits adultery.
Okay.
Three,
Yeah.
that they leave the religion
Of Islam. Apostles.
Right, now listen, just think logically. I know I'm right. If someone says to you, right, if someone says to you, if you leave this room, I'm going to shoot you, does that mean they're forcing you to stay? No. Does anyone think what he said is logical?
What did he say, boy? Repeat that again.
So I asked him the question. Think about this yourselves. Make your own decision.
Okay.
If someone had you in a room, put a gun to your head and said, if you leave this room, I'm going to kill you.
Okay.
Are they forcing you to stay?
Yeah.
Now, this guy said no.
Okay.
Don't worry, I will explain. Don't worry.
He will
So explain to
he
me
will
how putting a gun
No.
to someone's head when they're in a room and saying, you can't leave this room is not forcing them to stay.
No, he will explain. Oh.
First of all, you said when someone forces you for no reason to be.
No, I didn't say it.
No, you said.
Shall I say it again?
Yes,
Say it again, boy.
Okay, so these are the three. Everyone else, I think, listened. He didn't.
Listen.
So, first reason Muhammad gave was if someone kills someone without a justified reason. Okay? So you can kill someone for a justified reason in Islam, it's called qisas. Right? Two, that if you
Which is in a New Testament.
Secondly, if you commit adultery. Third reason that a Muslim can kill a Muslim if they leave the religion of Islam. So it's that third reason that means that Islam forces people to be Muslim.
Yes.
Example, logically, think.
Okay.
If I had this guy in a room and I said to him he couldn't leave, and he says, I want to leave, and I say, try it, bud, I'll kill you. Am I forcing him to stay?
Yes.
Right, so if I'm a Muslim and I want to leave Islam,
Okay.
and this Muslim says, if you leave Islam, I'm going to kill you, is he forcing me to be Muslim?
Yes.
So Islam does teach compulsion in religion.
Perfect.
The hadiths contradict the Qur'an because the Qur'an says, let there be no compulsion in religion.
That'll be abrogated though.
So, the Quran and the Hadiths contradict one another. Now, something that is self-contradictory is not true.
Right.
Well, let's talk about
No. I need
your
to
religion.
I need to bring a counter argument.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Can I say
He's a
something?
good guy, he's a
You
good guy.
never,
No, I'm talking to him.
excuse me.
Go
You
on,
never
I'm listening to
convince them to become a Christian, and he cannot convince you to become
Loads of Muslims are becoming Christians.
Okay.
Loads of Muslims are becoming Christians.
Let's
You
talk
can
about
become
today.
a Christian.
talk
You
about
can
today.
become a Christian.
Right.
But
Okay,
do you
so you're out of
accept,
this now, right?
excuse me, do you accept Muslims who are born and bred in this country?
I'm sorry, I'm not having
Your
two conversations. You
countrymen.
had your chance.
Yeah?
No.
Do you accept Muslims
I'm polite,
who
I let
are
people
born
finish.
and bred in this country as a full of your countrymanship, a full unity? Do you
Let me answer
believe-
this
accept
question.
them or not?
Let me answer this question because it's a fair question.
it's a fair question.
But you've got to listen to the answer.
Pero listen, uncle.
I am willing to give Muslims in this country more rights than a Muslim
No, I
caliph
want
would
you-
give to a
I want
Christian
you
in an
to-
Islamic country.
I want you hardly to accept them as your countryman.
I
Do
have
you-
just
do you-
said.
No,
listen
you
to what I'm
don't.
saying. You didn't listen. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? What did I say?
That you would give more rights to a Muslim in this
I would
country.
give Muslims in this country more legal rights than a Muslim caliph would give a Christian in an Islamic caliphate.
Okay, okay.
Do you want me to prove that?
So,
Shall I prove
Yeah,
that?
prove it, Bob.
difficult to
Prove
understand.
it, Bob.
Ducked out, mate.
The
You're
tone
unfair,
of your
my friend.
voice.
You're unfair. Because when I ask you,
You wanted him
No.
to join in this
No,
conversation.
Yeah, he did that, he did that.
Got so much
let him
anger.
Do
speak.
you want me to prove it?
No, I say you have got so much
This
anger.
guy is
How
talking
could
from
you
facts,
accept
bro.
Muslim?
Because I want
How
to
could
be
you
I'm
accept
talking
Muslim?
from facts.
It's like you
Let's
don't
fact
preach
check,
it.
let's fact check.
Yeah, but that's
You
what I
preach
asked.
Just wait your
You said
turn.
no. You said no.
Wait your
Just
turn,
wait
wait
your
your
turn.
turn.
Attempt to like them.
Okay, so let me prove to you.
Yeah.
Let me prove to you. I'm going to ask, can I stand in the shade? Because I'm really getting burnt here. Sorry. I am white. You know, it's not everything about being white is privilege, I promise you.
Go, Bob.
So, guys, I have just said to wherever this Muslim brother
Yeah. Go
that
on.
I am willing to afford and support the idea that Muslims will have more rights in this country than an Islamic caliph would give to a Christian in a Muslim caliphate.
Why not? Why not?
Now I'm
It's
going to prove
historically
it.
wrong.
There is
Now I'm
no
going to prove it.
caliphate,
Okay,
there is
let
no
him
Now
prove
I'm
it,
going
let him
to
prove it, let him prove it.
And
Now I'm-
excuse me, you know
Wait.
that?
No,
Hold
uncle,
on.
uncle, let him prove it.
Let me show you my proof.
Yeah.
Let me give my proof.
Yeah, let's fact check, Bob.
You're talking about the past.
Bro.
Caliphate.
Bro.
What are you talking
Bro.
about?
Be patient, uncle.
Let me speak. Right? Everyone heard me. I support the idea that every Muslim here should have the same rights as me.
Yeah, you said that.
So I will support the idea that Muslims should have more rights
Yeah.
than a Christian will have
The caliph.
in an Islamic
The
caliphate.
caliphate, yeah,
Let me
yeah.
prove that.
Go on, prove it, Bob.
Now we all know the principle. If you're a Muslim, you know the principle of qisas, which is the punishment like for like.
Like in Old
If I
Testament.
blind you,
Like in Old
you get to
Testament.
blind me.
He knows.
If you cheat on my wife, I don't know. I guess maybe I get to cheat on your wife. If I kill you, you get to kill me. I'm just explaining the principle. I'm just
He
explaining the
knows.
principle. I'm not rushing, bro. No one should me. Wait your turn. Patience, please. Patience.
Patient, uncle.
Patience. Patience.
Patient, uncle.
The idea of blood money is something that is established in the Qur'an.
Okay.
If I kill you,
Yeah.
your family has the right to have me killed.
Okay.
Or they can accept money as compensation, which is decided by the caliph. That's Islamic doctrine. Okay? Right? Muslims told me that. Muslim scholars told me that. Taqiyya. They're all pretending that I'm making this shit up.
Same as you,
I'm
same
telling
as
you,
you.
this is Islam.
What is that? What do you mean? What is that? What is that?
Solution.
One second.
What is the third
One second,
solution?
One second.
What is the third solution? What
One
is the third-
second.
No. Please,
One
what is
second.
the third solution?
Hey.
The third solution is
second.
complete forgiveness.
So-
He forgot to
So the principle.
He's a liar. This guy
So
is
the
not
principle of
Wait,
qisas.
no, say.
So the principle-
Don't
go
yet.
yet.
The third solution.
Ki-
The complete
Qisas.
forgiveness.
Qisas. Thank you for the correction, Uncle.
Qisas, okay.
Qisas. It's not my first language.
Thank you, uncle.
So, the principle of blood money
Okay.
is established in the Quran in Surah 2, 178.
2178.
And Muslims understand this. They apply this
Yeah.
by how the rightly guided caliphs apply this.
Okay.
And we know what the rightly guided caliphs did by the use of hadith. So listen to what the hadith say about blood money.
Okay.
With regards to Christians.
Okay.
Notice the triggered uncle doesn't have the patience to listen. Doesn't have the patience to
Be
listen.
patient, uncle.
So, in Sahih al-Bukhari, number 9, 83, 50. And this is also supported by similar comments in Sahih al-Bukhari 13111 and in Sahih al-Bukhari 452 and 283.
Okay.
It states this:
What does it say, Bob?
the legal regulations of the diya and the releasing of the captives and the judgment, that no Muslim should be killed in the qisas for the killing of a kuffar.
Jews
That's
and Christians.
me.
Okay.
That's every Christian here. So in other words, if a Muslim kills a Muslim, their life can be demanded.
Okay.
But if a Muslim kills a Christian, their life cannot be demanded.
Wow.
So Christians or Muslims are not equal in law.
Wow, boo.
Example number 2. Abu Dawood 394527.
Alright.
Listen carefully.
Listen.
The value of the blood money at the time of the apostles of Allah was 800 dinars
800.
or 8,000 dirhams.
Okay.
And the blood money for the people of the book, who's the people of the book?
The Jews and the Christians.
Christians and the Jews,
Okay.
was half that of a Muslim.
Wow. Half the money.
So the life of a Christian in Islamic law is not equal to the life of a Muslim. That means that Sharia law stands for injustice, and Christians have every right to oppose that injustice. By contrast, I'm finishing, last point. By contrast, Christians live by the code that is, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So what rights I want for myself, I give to this bro. So if I want my life to be valued, I give the same value to him. Islam does not do the same. We can do better than Sharia law by following the Bible and by following the Christian faith.
That's right. Bob. Praise the Lord.
Question, one question.
Well, back to the first point you made, yeah? First point in regards to the blood money, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? Can you go back to the quote?
Yeah, sure.
Because you mentioned 3-4 points in this, yeah?
Yeah.
خليني excuse me, I don't talk religion, okay? Can I talk one question? I don't talk religion.
The first one you mentioned.
Okay.
The blood money, yeah?
You see,
So about the blood money. So that was actually the second one. Okay? It's from Abu Dawood 394527.
Not the hadith, what you said.
Listen,
I'm not talking about the hadith, I'm saying what you mentioned.
what I mentioned was what was in the hadith.
No. You made some mention about the blood money.
Yes.
You mentioned 3 points. Can you go back to the point you mentioned?
Okay, so I'll restate my points.
Stay on that. Stay on that, yeah? Don't
one
divert.
point.
Don't know
No,
which
don't
point
go
you're
with it.
asking about.
Don't divert to anyone else, yeah?
So the point that I'm making is that the blood money paid for the life of a Christian is half that of a Muslim, which means that Christians don't have the same legal rights.
That's the last point.
Okay, the other point, which is that in the exception of the Hanafi school, that all Muslim schools, with the exception of the Hanafi school, state that you cannot kill a Muslim who killed a Christian. But if a Muslim kills a Christian, his life can be demanded as punishment, which means that Christians do not have equal rights in Islamic law. By contrast, Christianity is better than Islam.
okay,
Because Christians say, love thy neighbour as you love yourself. So if I want my life to be valued at £50,000, his life has to be valued at £50,000. If I want the punishment for killing me to be that you lose your life, it has to be the same for him.
That's right.
Islam does not reciprocate.
Nothing.
Okay, can I
Restate my point. Which one have you got?
can I question?
That's not the point.
Can I
You mentioned 3 points, yeah?
Well, which point are you talking about?
The point you mentioned is about the blood money, yeah?
Yes,
The blood money you mentioned is something to do, if I can remember.
I can't hear you.
If I can remember, blood money is talking about equal rights, the amount you give altogether.
Yeah.
So the first point, that's what I'm saying. Now, we mentioned a point there.
Again, I can't hear you, bro.
Louder.
You're going to have to speak up.
I'm still being camera.
You've just got to speak up. I can't hear you.
Okay.
You've got a mask over your face and you're mumbling. Speak up. Take your mask down or speak up. I'm trying to hear your point, but you need to speak up. Okay.
Yeah? Well, to explain to you, the first point you mentioned, yeah? About the blood money. So So you mentioned that there's no actual forgiveness for the blood money. So the amount you give, that you could do right of the dirham and the dirham, that you give specifically, that the amount you give there, that you cannot give in that sort. Remember that point you mentioned?
No, what I said.
Go back to the first point.
Let me just read it again.
Before you go to that point.
Let me just read it. I'll read Abu Dawud again.
Pause.
Okay, we'll pause.
3, 2, 1, go.
You mentioned the first point you mentioned was the blood money and the amount you give and the issue. There's no forgiveness, etc. So that's the first point. Then you mentioned another point. So you didn't finish one point at a time, innit?
Bro, it's up to you to remember the point you want to talk about.
But that's why I'm going back to the first point you went to, innit?
So let's read it again.
Are you reading from the back of your head?
Maybe we'll get around to it if we investigate it some more. Let me ask you this question. Do you agree with this principle? Okay? That the value of the blood money at the time of the apostles, do you think this should be applied today? Was 800 dinars or 8,000 dirhams? This is the bit I want you to comment on. And the blood money for the people of the book was half that for Muslims. So do you believe that if I am killed by a Muslim, the blood money paid to my family should be half of what is paid to yours?
The narration you read it from, is it from Sahih Bukhari or Muslim?
It's Abu Dawud, 4527.
You can write this down.
I've given you the reference. I'm just asking if you agree with it or not.
I've never heard it when you mentioned it.
He's never heard of
I've
it.
never heard of it when you mentioned it.
Never heard of
What I'm trying to
it.
say-
That's not the question I asked you. The question I asked you was, do you agree with it?
It depends on the circumstance.
Depends on the circumstance. So depending on the circumstance, the lives of Jews and Christians should be half that of Muslims. That's what he's just argued. Depending on the circumstances, this brother's life is half that of mine, half that of his, and my life is half that of his, and his life is half that of his. Well, quarter. 10% off. That's how Saudi Arabia does it. So the point is, now let me reverse this. Do a thought experiment with me.
Okay.
If the British court systematically applied a system that said when I got run over by a joyrider, my family would get £50,000 in compensation. But if you got run over by a joyrider, because you're a Muslim, your family's only entitled to 25,000. Be honest now, because you're told to be honest, even if it means speaking against yourself. Would you call that Islamophobia? No, he wouldn't. Does anyone believe him?
No.
I don't believe him. I think he's lying. I think you're lying, bro. I think you're lying. I absolutely guarantee you would be calling it Islamophobia.
I don't believe Jesus. What did happen to me? Let's get to the main point.
But that's the main point.
This country obviously plays so-called claim of Christianity, etc. Yeah? The law on the issue of will, for example, yeah? What's the issue of will in the country? Equal rights.
I'll be honest, again, I didn't hear everything you said.
So the equal right.
Look, bro, you're going to have to speak up. I have a noise behind me. Project your voice. I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Because I've got a good voice. You've got a crap voice. Speak up. I can't hear you.
Okay. So what I'm trying to ask you, is that clear now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, speak up. Go on.
So, in regards to this country specifically, Christianity in this country today, yeah? Same point you mentioned right now, in regards to the Muslims, yeah? What do you think the law in this country in regards to actually, the contribution? Do people get equal rights in regards to the money they receive within the equal right of the will? You understand what I mean by that?
No, I have no idea what. You've got to project your voice, bro. Like, for me to answer your question, I have to hear it. Speak up. It just does. Right, so the principle that I'm asking you, right? And bearing in mind, this is what he said. He said in some circumstances he agrees with the idea that No, this is what the principle is. Listen carefully, because you didn't listen. Yeah? It said the blood money. Are you listening? He's not listening. The blood money for the people of the book. So that's the qualifying factor. That they are people of the book was half that as for Muslims. Do you agree with the application of that principle?
I'll explain to you. It depends on the time.
Now,
Situation. Time today, and at that time then it's completely different. It's really
no, I'm asking you now.
Equal right then and now it's completely different.
So you don't agree with it?
You have to look at the situation. I haven't looked at the situation perfectly.
So the situation is,
What I'm trying to
I'm
explain
going to
to you-
explain the situation because you're dodging and everyone can see you dodge.
I'm not dodging the question.
Everyone can see you
I'm
dodge,
not dodging the
bro.
question.
You are dodging the
Okay,
question.
when did this time
Here's
period-
the question.
when did this time period
Here's
happen?
the question.
When did the situation happen?
Is Sharia law applicable today?
In this country? No.
In a caliphate?
Not in this country. It's not
In a caliphate?
It's not caliphate today.
Do a hypothetical experiment with me. All right, a hypothetical.
What is a caliphate?
Right, a thought experiment is a perfectly reasonable way of determining our thoughts and establishing truth. So I'm asking you to do a thought experiment. This is a well-tried philosophical practice.
What is
The
the
thought
caliphate?
experiment is this.
Let's take one point at a time.
No. I am.
What is the caliphate?
No. I want you to answer this question.
No, I'm asking you.
You know you're not. You're trying to bury this conversation in technicalities. The question is really
you mentioned
simple.
a caliphate. So many people around us today, they want to understand what a caliphate is. What
A
is the
caliphate is where Islamic law dominates, and there is an Islamic ruler who rules by Islamic law. Is there anything wrong with that
Do we have this
description?
one in this country today?
Not the question I'm asking you.
I'm asking you a question in.
No, it isn't. But not the question I'm asking you. The question I'm asking you is that if, in a hypothetical world, we had an Islamic caliphate, would you want a law like that to be followed?
In this country.
In an Islamic caliphate?
Wait, you have to be specific.
Oh my gosh.
come on now,
Does
come on
anyone
now.
want to... I'm not going to shout because there's a beautiful little child there, so I'm not going to
You
raise
need
my
to be
voice.
specific. Where?
Would you like to hear him answer my question?
You need to say.
Oh, ask him, because he seems sincere.
Okay, you're not answering my question. So let me ask someone else. Are you a Muslim?
No.
Fair enough, sorry guys. Sikh,
You need
fair
to be
enough.
specific. Where?
So,
Location.
I'm not going to ask you.
Okay,
You're just not
thought
asking-
experiment with the Sikh.
Let me do a thought experiment with you because this brother's just avoiding the question.
Okay.
So in Islamic law, it teaches this, right? It says that the people of the book, that's Jews and Christians, you guys don't even get a mention, right? Right? Jews and Christians, that in the payment of reparations for an illegal murder, the blood money that's paid in compensation is half between a Christian and a Muslim. So if his family gets paid 50,000 in compensation, our families will only get paid 25,000. You guys, the Sikhs, might be lucky to get anything at all because you're Sikh, right? Do you agree that that is unjust? Do you think that's unjust?
That's not. We don't know if that's the authentic source or not.
Yeah, it's an authentic source. It's Abu Dawud 394527.
Where is it narrated? It doesn't know the
Sahih al-Bukhari. I've just given it. So,
listen to me.
so go on.
The narration you mentioned there, is it authentic? How do I know you didn't write that down today?
Yeah, that's what I do. I just make up hadiths and come here with proper isnads. Yeah, of course, that's what I do. I just make stuff up. Yeah, no, I just made it up.
Okay.
I lied.
Let's go back to-
I just wrote it down, made it all up.
Let's go back to your
I didn't
point.
get it from an Islamic website. I didn't get it from an Islamic source. I
Let's
just
go back
made
to
it
the
up.
point you mentioned.
Oh, he's
okay.
backtracking now. He's
Let's go
backtracking.
back. Let's go back. Did you keep that and ask you a simple
I'm
question?
still waiting for you to answer my question.
We're sticking to one point at a time. We're not going to go through.
No, you haven't answered my
I'll
question.
ask a simple question. The issue of a caliphate. Where do you determine?
So
where
my
it is?
question is not based upon there needing to be an Islamic caliphate, it's based upon a hypothetical situation. So stop sidestepping the question and answer the question. In an hypothetical Islamic caliphate, would you want a law like that to be passed? Yes or no?
Yeah.
In an Islamic country, it's different. What you-
In an Islamic country,
Islamic
it's different.
country.
Is that a yes?
Is that a yes?
Kind of sounds like a yes.
I'm asking you because you're saying, where do you want this actually system to be determined?
Okay, so let's move this conversation forward because
Okay.
he's just ignoring the point. But we know that that's what he means in his heart.
Yeah.
We know that's what he means in his heart, right? So, can we do better than Islam? Yes, we can. Christ said, I'm going to explain. Christ said that you love your neighbor as you love yourself, which is straight out of the Old Testament. So even the Jews can do better than the Muslims by following the Old Testament, and we Christians can do better than the Muslims by following Jesus Christ in the New Testament, which means this: we can do better than a so-called perfect system. The only way this brother can save his religion is to demonstrate how the principle that my life should be valued at half of his is fairer than saying, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So what rights you want for yourself, you give to your neighbor. So just demonstrate that.
But that's it. The one you mentioned right now, from my point of view, I've never heard this before.
Doesn't matter, it's still there.
It doesn't matter because you're fabricating something.
Oh, I'm fabricating.
Yes.
Well, so is the Islamic website from which I got it from then. You need to take it up with them.
You can make a website. I can make a website.
You need to
So
take it
I'm
up.
answering simple
I'm sorry, that is not an argument. Just saying, oh, he's made it up is not an argument.
It's not offensive.
Do you know that it's a fabrication?
It could be.
Are you? No, not a could be. You said it is a fabrication. Do you know it's a fabrication?
I can't determine your.
Right, so you don't know, do
You got it from a
you?
website.
So you don't know, do you? So you just lied, didn't you? You stated as a fact that it was a fabrication, and I've just asked you, do you know it's a fabrication, and you
Because
can't.
I asked you specifically.
So you don't know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, ask whatever question you like.
I asked you, Hadith itself, yeah? You said it's Abdul, the narrator, yeah?
Sahih
I said
al-Bukhari,
to you-
yeah.
You're saying it's Sahih al-Bukhari now?
This one I'm going to read now.
Okay, the first one, the other one you mentioned is Sahih al-Bukhari.
No, that one's Abu Dawud.
Abu Dawud, which, that's what I'm trying to say. It could be weak. It's the two times it's weak.
Yep, irrelevant to the point.
It is relevant, yes.
So Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih is Sahih, right?
Yeah, that's different.
Great. He's just said Sahih is Sahih.
That's it, yeah.
Tell everybody what Sahih means.
You want to go and do detail?
I just want you to tell everybody what Sahih
It's
means.
authentic narration.
Authentic narration. Right, he's going to backtrack. He's going to say I'm making this one up as well. Okay? The legal regulation of the diya, the compensation for a crime of murder, and the releasing of captives, and the judgment is that no Muslim should be killed in the qisas for the killing of a kuffar. So in other words, if a Muslim kills a Muslim, the Muslim family of the victim can demand the life of the Muslim perpetrator. But if a Muslim kills a Christian, the Christian family or the Jewish family cannot demand the life of the Muslim perpetrator. Do you want to see that established in law?
No, today.
In an Islamic caliphate?
Islamic caliphate.
Yes.
It's a good question. You've got a good question.
I'm looking for an answer.
I know you're looking for an answer. You understand?
The answer is?
I mean, in our time and age, I don't think it's possible.
No, that's not the question.
In our time and age,
No, that was not my question.
You're saying in that case,
I didn't say whether it
that
could.
situation could be issued.
No,
No,
you're not answering my question. You just reinvented the question.
Let me understand.
The question, let me just restate the question. The restatement of the question is this. The restatement of the question is this. Do you want to see a law like that applied in an Islamic caliphate? Sorry?
There's a possibility, yes.
It's a possibility, yes. I think everyone with common sense knows what he's really saying is yes. That's what he's really saying. He wants this life to be less valued than his life. He wants my life to be less valued. That's exactly what we've just established.
That's what I'm trying to.
So justify it then.
Let me make something clear. Yeah?
Justify
Let me
it.
explain
Go on.
this. Let me
Justify
justify
it. Yeah. He's going to justify it now.
Okay.
So we're not debating whether it's he wants it. Now he wants it. He's going to justify it.
Okay.
You need to understand. First, let me make point one. Yeah. You need to actually specifically understand this actual hadith. What is the essence behind it? What does it specifically mean? Sure. What time period was it established? You understand? Yeah. You understand? Our time now has changed. There's a lot of things have changed. Knowledge has changed. Society has changed.
Yeah.
So this narration it could have been applied in the past, in the time of Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
1400 years ago. You understand? So in our time and age, can we apply that today?
Right. So let me ask you
That's
this.
what you need to understand.
So was Islam perfected today, or was it perfected in Muhammad's day? There you go. So how can you improve upon perfection? What you're saying is let's change Sharia law for today. But Islam says that Islam was perfected in the 7th century, so why do you need to change it?
You have Sharia law in a Muslim established country, not in a country that's not.
You're still not answering. That's avoiding the question.
You're going to Sharia law.
Have I talked about anything else? He's saying now I'm going to Sharia law. Have I talked about anything else other than Sharia law? But here's the crux, bro. I am telling you, I am arguing the point to every Muslim that can hear my voice and to every Muslim that watches this that Christianity is intrinsically better than Islam.
You need to bring your proof in it.
So, my proof. Christianity and Judaism.
That is authenticated.
Yeah,
fabricated.
that's fine. That's
Made
fine.
up.
Yeah. So we believe as Christians that you should treat your neighbour like you wanted to be treated. So that guides our principle of law. So if we want our lives to be valued at £50,000, we have to say that your life should be valued at £50,000 because you're our neighbour. Now, would you agree that that is fairer than what we've just found in the Islamic law?
You're saying that. That's not a quote from the Bible.
Is it?
Is that a quote from the Bible?
That you should love your neighbour as you love yourself? Yeah, that's a quote from the Bible.
That's in regards to the payment.
Yeah, it's how you apply it. No, it is.
Give me one quote from the Bible that mentions specifically, yeah?
Yeah.
And also actually the jizya you mentioned. So they actually.
No, I mentioned the diya, not the jizya.
Jizya and diya is a similarity.
No, I'm talking about the diya, not the jizya. Stop trying to change the subject.
Okay. Let's go back to the main point. Go back to the point you mentioned.
I don't even think you know my main point. What's my main point?
Go back to the point issue of the equal right of Muslims and Christians and how they actually yeah?
It's the unequal right.
Unequal right, yeah. What does the Bible say specifically?
So,
one quote from
yeah.
Not from what you say from
Yeah. So the Bible teaches as our guiding principle. It's called the golden rule. Yeah. And Jesus himself said, the Pharisees came to him and he said, "Good teacher, upon which do the laws of Moses hang?" And Christ replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And the second one is like unto it, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Upon these two laws, the laws of Moses hang." So that means that these are our two legal principles by which we do law. So there, I've established it.
Establishing that there, you're not establishing the point we mentioned.
Right, so how would you apply this principle? Here's the principle, okay? I'm going to give you a specific example with a principle. The principle is, we walk out of this park together, we're going to go and have a coffee, and we both get run over by the same joyrider, okay? And legally in this country, they have to pay compensation. How would you apply the principle, love thy neighbor as you love thyself, in terms of the principle, in terms of the law about how much compensation me and you receive?
There's no equal right with that.
There's no equal right.
On that, no, sure, yes. Because you know that clearly. Because meaning you will get £4,000, I will receive £2,000.
Why?
Meaning there's no equal right. Depending on your injury, depending on the...
No, we both died.
You're saying dying? Yeah?
No, I said dying right at the beginning, you just weren't listening. You've got to keep up, bro.
No, mention insurance.
What's your name?
Huh?
Sorry? Zach, bro, like, if you've got...
I'm listening to you.
Then you've got to engage with what I'm saying, bro.
That's what you said, you keep diverting.
No, I'm not the one that's diverting, because I'm the one asking you questions. So you're the one who's diverting.
Anyway, let's get to one point.
What's the point you want to get to?
Let's get to one point. Islam itself, yes, it does give equal right to the Christian.
No, it doesn't. I've just demonstrated
Let me
that.
explain to you.
Go and explain to me from this example how I have equal rights to you.
That's what I'm trying to explain. You've been one religion. You know what you need to understand? What you need to understand the hadith.
Yeah.
Every hadith is applied at the same time. There can be another hadith that will not abrogate it.
I gave 3.
It's a gadget. You want another hadith that also will mention more elaborate that stuff. That's what we need to understand specifically this hadith when it was applied to. It could be a time and period that it was applied to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to make it clear.
So how have you justified the inequality? Because I didn't see your justification for the inequality. Yeah. I've just demonstrated conclusively that Christians and Jews don't have the same rights as Muslims. You're saying that they do, so prove it using this example.
There's other hadith, but I'm not.
So how are they equal? Are you saying there's other hadiths that contradict this hadith?
I want to say contradict.
So they don't. So we have other hadith that don't contradict, but this hadith is very clear about what it says. So what you're saying is they don't contradict, but somehow this doesn't apply.
If you want to put it as that way,
That's exactly what you've just said.
what I'm trying to explain to you. We need
So
to
bring one of these
understand-
other hadiths.
Huh?
Bring one of these other hadiths.
It's a big topic.
So how do you know they exist?
Huh?
How do you know they exist?
Bring them. There's a chapter in the actual Bible that says this. I'm the one. When I was obviously listening to you, I wanted to understand your point of view. Why you even specifically bringing up?
Is this a chapter from Sahih al-Bukhari?
The one you mentioned now?
The one that is Bukhari 98350. The other one is 13111, and the other one is 452283. That says that I don't have the same rights as you in Islamic Caliphate. Because your life is not equaled in the same value as my life. But what I'm saying to you, bro, you know that that's unfair in your heart. You know that that's wrong. Because we have a better principle in Christianity. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. That means what rights I want for me, I have to find those rights for you. No, it doesn't, because we've just seen in Islam it doesn't do that.
And you're concluding everything.
Is it wrong here? Is it wrong here?
No, you keep mentioning is it wrong this and that.
I'm asking you, is it wrong
if it's
here?
wrong this and that. I'm just explaining to you on that specific hadith you mentioned now.
Yeah.
I could apply it in a time period. Understand? That's what I'm trying to explain to you. You need to understand hadith.
And when I asked you, do you want it to be applied today, you essentially said yes.
Essentially, yes.
Yes, you did. Everyone heard you, bro. You said, well, maybe, possibly. Which is another way of saying, I'm in front of a camera, I don't want to say anything that's bloody awful, but I can't say anything that's against my own faith. So I'm going to go, oh, well, maybe, probably. So that's what you stand for. And you stand for this because your religion teaches it, which means that your religion makes you into a worse person than my religion makes me.
What justice does...
Sorry? I can't hear you, bro.
Do you know about the last sermon? I think he refers to Muhammad's last sermon, and he's asking, do you know about it?
I know of it. I don't know the full contents of it. Irrelevant to the point I'm making. You don't even know the point I'm making. Irrelevant to the point that I'm making.
That's irrelevant to the point.
Irrelevant to the point that I'm making. Yeah, right. So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, because I've tried with this brother for ages. Okay, so now please note how Muslims are celebrating the desecration of a church.
Wow.
This is the Christophobia that we're seeing in the park. No one forced him to do that.
Nah.
He just chose to do it. Okay, because Islam fails. Jesus said, "You shall know them by their fruits," and consistently we find Muslims are willing to stand up for things that are just unjust. Let's see if this Muslim can do any better.
Okay.
Okay, so qisas. You know what qisas is, right? Sorry?
Qisas is story.
No, maybe I mispronounced it then. So the punishment, the way of deciding the punishment for someone who commits a capital crime. It's connected to dia.
It's talking about the capture. It's talking about the capture. So basically, the issue of decided on the issue of when someone's captured, and the Christians and the Muslims.
Captured people.
We're talking about what happens when someone kills someone illegally. Do you know what Islam teaches? I just want to establish how much you actually know. Right. So this is what Islam teaches. This is what Christians have experienced in real time. If you go,
Someone kills someone on the road.
this is what Christians have experienced in real time. And if you go to the Filipino embassy, they actually give advice to Filipinos who are coming to Saudi Arabia because it's still being applied today. Okay? It's basically about capital punishment. If I kill you in an Islamic caliphate, yeah, your family can demand my life as punishment. Or they can accept blood money as payment, right? But Islam teaches that in an Islamic caliphate, if you kill me because I am a Christian, my family can't demand your life. Also, it teaches that if you kill me, I'm just going to pull a number out of my head. My family has to pay you 50,000, right? But if I kill you, my family has to pay you 50,000 if your family accepts the blood money. But if you kill me, the most that my family can get is half of the value of your life, so it would be 25,000. Now let me give you the evidence, okay? So in Sahih al-Bukhari it states this: the legal regulations of diya and the releasing of captives and the judgment that no Muslim should be killed in qisas, capital punishment, for killing a kuffar. Okay, that's Sahih al-Bukhari.
Say again. No Muslim.
That no Muslim should be killed in qisas for the killing of a kuffar. That's me. That's him. That's him. So we don't get, our lives are not valued like yours. I'll give you that in a second. Abu Dawud states the value of the blood money at the time of the apostles of Allah was 800 dinars or 8,000 dirhams, and the blood money for the people of the book was half that of a Muslim. Now tell me, Christians believe in a principle of love thy neighbour as you love thyself. So what rights I want for me, I should want those same rights for you. Out of these two principles, which one is better?
This is not really right. This is punishment.
So my question is, which one is better?
It doesn't say you should kill anyone. It's not encouraging killing.
You're dodging the question. That was not my question.
I'm saying it's not right.
I am going to ask the question again. In terms of the principle, of punishment, is treating
rights. That's what I'm saying. Punishment and rights are not.
Yeah, I'll ask you again because you're just trying to dodge the question. In terms of the principle of punishment, is it better to treat people equally under the law or to treat people differently under the law on the basis of their religion?
You have to treat people appropriately to the condition.
So what he's saying is it's better to treat people differently under the law according to their religion. That's what he stands for. So now let me ask you this question.
That's not what I said.
No.
Wait, don't put words in my mouth.
All right, then explain what you said.
I said you have to treat people according to the condition.
Right.
So for instance,
if the condition is Christian and they've been killed.
I don't know what the condition is.
I've just given you the condition.
You have to treat people individually depending on the condition.
I will ask you, I'll give you the context. According to Islamic law.
I'm not a judge, so I don't.
According to Islamic law, if a Muslim kills a Christian, and then
is that a bad thing?
I don't believe I actually have to answer that question. I don't believe I actually have to answer that question. Yes, if a Muslim kills a Christian,
Muslim is a bad thing.
yes.
And we agree.
Brilliant. Now, what should be? Now, 1 second. What should the punishment be according to Islamic law?
I don't know.
I've just told you.
Yeah, but you're one point.
There we go again. Do you see? Now, do a thought
If I
experiment.
told you something about Christianity and I haven't...
Hamza, do a
checked it,
thought experiment with me. Do a thought experiment with me. Yeah? Right? If the British government passed a law, that said, if you get killed by a Christian, the punishment is not equal than if you kill a Christian, would you say that that's Islamophobic?
I would be dead.
He's just dodging the question. Answer the question, bro.
I don't answer. I can't answer.
I don't know, I can't answer. So in other words, what he's really saying is, I want to say it's Islamophobic, but I'm not going to say it's Islamophobic, because if I say it's Islamophobic, then I admit to injustice within Islam.
Okay.
So it's not Islamophobic. So Britain is perfectly fine to set discriminatory laws against Muslims. And you've got no problem with that.
It's their country.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Muslim is perfectly fine with us establishing discriminatory laws. So why do you believe in Islamophobia?
What do you mean by something?
Discrimination against Muslims.
Do I believe it?
Yeah, do you think Islamophobia is a real thing?
Oh, does it happen?
Yeah. Is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
Why would it be right?
Why would it be right? Great question. Why would it be right to treat people differently according to their religion? That's exactly the question that I'm asking about Islamic law. Thank you very much. That was great, Hamza. You're a star, mate. You're a star. You're not a scholar, that's for sure. But the point is, Hamza, right? In your heart of hearts, just like this, bro, you know that it's wrong.
But this
You know that it's wrong.
What I said right in the beginning. No black man is better than a white man. No
Irrelevant to my point.
No white man is better than a black man.
Irrelevant to my point.
Except in piety.
Irrelevant to my point. Irrelevant to my point. Irrelevant to my point.
It is to your point.
No, my
People are
point.
better than other
What was my
people.
point?
A person who worships God is better than a person who
What
worships
was my
a
point?
stone. That's
What was my point? What was my point?
Not quality.
In
Inequality.
in law.
Okay, in law.
And you said that discrimination against Muslims would be wrong. Why? Because why would it be right to discriminate against Muslims in law? But yet, Islam teaches discrimination against every non-Muslim. Sikh, Jew, Christian. If an Islamic state dominates, we do not get treated equally under Islamic law. That is why Christians must oppose Sharia law. Equality is not justice, right? So let me ask you this question: is it right, the example that I've given using Islamic sources, is it right to say that the punishment for killing me should be less than the punishment for killing you?
Okay, again. Is it right?
Did everyone else hear me?
Yeah.
You heard me, right? Let's do this again. Let's do this again. The question is, depends on the context. So what context justifies the punishment being less for a Christian than for a Muslim?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah, go on.
Right now we're in a secular country, right? Do you agree?
Not talking about secular countries. We're talking about Islamic law.
But let me give my point.
Right, well, make your point then.
It's an example.
Yeah.
Right now we're in a secular country. Everyone living things are fine. If you had a Christian majority country run by the canon of Christianity, and you had your rules, we as Muslims would have to follow them. And likewise, in a Muslim majority country with the Sharia established, the Christians would have to listen to the rules that are in place in them. I believe that's fine.
Right, so listen to the context that he gave as a defence for treating Christians differently legally. It's simply the Islamic law rules. That was his context. So in other words, he admits the point that I'm making. Islamic law would treat non-Muslims differently to Muslims, and the only excuse for it is that Islam dominates. But yet, when I said, if the British state... Wait a second. When we all got you on camera, bro.
They would be treated
When
differently.
I said... He's not denying it. There we go. He admits it. Fantastic. An honest Muslim, I applaud your honesty. I applaud your honesty. And that means that Islam is intrinsically unjust. And we know it's intrinsically unjust. Let me finish my point. I did not interrupt you. Do not interrupt me. I am not your dhimmi. So, when we asked him, about whether we should pass laws that discriminate against Muslims in this country, he said that would be wrong. And I asked him why. And he said, well, of course, why would you do that? But yet when Islam does it, it's, well, Islam dominates, so it's okay. No, bro, it's not okay. We can do better than Islam. And it's called following the Bible. Because the Bible says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So what laws and rights I want for me are the ones that I want for you. That's a better principle of law.
If you know the truth, you know the truth.
Yes.
Do you want to encourage people to the truth or discourage them from the truth?
Ah, right. So yes, I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to answer the question. So now his rationalization is that we will discriminate legally against Christians to encourage them to the truth. Isn't that compulsion? So,
encouragement. I never said force.
So if
Why you put word his mouth?
so let me
Every time I speak, you
so let me so you don't believe in compulsion in religion?
Word in his mouth. What's wrong
Right.
with you?
Let me give you an example.
Don't go move on.
No, it's connected to the point.
Encourage to the truth. or
It's
should you
connected
discourage
to the point. You'll see that it's connected to the point. Okay? It's connected to the point. Because Christians do not have the same rights as Muslims in Sharia law. He's admitted that now. It's not even a debating point. So, if I had you in a room and put a gun to your head and said you can't leave this room otherwise I'll shoot you, would you agree with me I'm compelling you to stay in the room? Right. If I have a religion and I say to you if you try to leave this religion I'm going to kill you, am I compelling you to stay in the religion?
Leaving and leaving the room is two different things.
Oh, leaving. So if I force him to stay in a room by threatening to kill him, that is compelling him to stay in the room. But if I force him to stay in a religion by threatening to kill him, he thinks that's not compelling him to stay in the religion.
Do any of you know, excuse me?
No, it's compelling. It's compelling.
Humanity, the great gift, the greatest gift that God gave humanity, besides Jesus Christ.
No.
You as a human being, Jesus Christ aside, the greatest gift that God gave humanity. He gave you the right to choose.
But Islam would take that away.
Choice.
Islam will take that away.
Choice.
I've just given you an example.
That's not proving in the religion.
Okay, right. He says I'm not proving. Right, one second. I will hold on 1 second,
Can I
brother.
force you to become a Muslim?
Brother.
Can I force you to become a Muslim?
You
Yes
can
or no?
force me to stay a Muslim.
No. Can I force you to become a Muslim?
No, but you can
then
force me
خلاص,
to
that's
stay
it,
a Muslim.
That's finished.
Forced into Islam.
Yeah, but
Yes, they are.
That's incorrect.
Not by you.
That's incorrect.
What I'm asking you though is, according to Islamic law, can you
talking about
compel?
becoming Muslim.
Can you compel someone to stay a Muslim even if they don't want to,
They can run away.
and be killed?
They can run away.
So here's what the Muslims said. If you are in a Muslim country and you want to become a Christian, you should run away. You should leave your home. You should abandon your country and your culture. Just leave. That's what you said, right? There you go. How is that right? So if we do that to Muslims, if we say if you want to become a Muslim in this country, you have to leave the country, would you say that's Islamophobia?
Do you have apostate law in your religion?
Answer my question.
Do you have apostate law in your religion?
Answer my question.
Where's your proof though? You're
So I will ask the question again.
Ask it again, boy.
If
you
the
haven't answered my
British,
first question.
if the British state passed a law that said if you become a Muslim you have to leave this country, would you call it Islamophobic?
Yeah, but what can I do?
Yeah, but it's not Christophobic when they do it.
Ah, okay.
Oh, shock horror! Shock
I
horror!
never said it wasn't. I said from the beginning, you encourage the truth and you
Yep.
discourage the falsehood.
So you agree it's
from the beginning-
Christophobic? So you agree it's Christophobic?
Yes, as a Muslim,
He's honest.
I want you to
I gotta
become
give him
a
that.
Muslim.
He's honest. So now let's ask her this: does your conscience tell you that this is right?
Wait,
To
answer my question.
right? What's your question?
Should you, if you know the truth,
Yes.
should you encourage people to the truth or should you discourage them?
You shouldn't compel them. You should encourage them.
Not compel, you should encourage them. Then
The
you agree with
apostasy
me.
law. No, I don't.
Then you agree with me.
No, I don't. You're
You
putting words
should
in my mouth now.
encourage-
The
No, you
apostasy
said-
law.
I said I want to encourage
You're wrong.
everyone to become Muslim.
You're wrong.
I won't force anyone.
You're wrong.
I won't force anyone.
You're wrong.
I will encourage you.
You're wrong.
Because I want them to
You're
be
wrong.
saved.
I would like to hear your truth in Islam.
So,
I want them to be saved.
so 1 second, brother. 1 second. I gave you the example of compulsion, the apostasy laws.
That's leaving, not entering.
That. Oh my gosh. So it is compulsion then.
No,
How is it not compulsion?
because you have the option to run away.
You have the
Go away.
option to run away. You have the option to go away. But the law says if the Islamic State.
there's a reason
But
behind
you're
that.
saying that the
There's a
Islamic.
context behind
You're
that.
saying that the Islamic State has the right to kill you if you want to leave Islam, right?
Islamic State has the right to kill you
If you leave Islam.
if you apostate. Yeah.
Right, so there we go. That's compulsion to stay in the religion. It's supported in the hadith the Muslims use.
Okay, fine. But from what I understand, verse the Quran says that there's no compulsion in religion.
Yep.
Right? So if someone has a choice to opt out,
Yep.
that's their choice, right?
Correct. So the hadiths contradict the Quran. I'm fully aware of the internal contradictions of Islam.
So what does the hadith say?
So the hadith says that a Muslim can only be killed for one of three reasons. One, if he kills unjustly. Two, if he commits adultery. Three, if he leaves the religion of Islam. Do you agree? Yeah.
Okay, so what hadith is this?
This is in Sahih al-Bukhari.
What page?
I don't have the exact reference.
There's conditions for that.
However, these two seem to be familiar with it, so I'm not making it up.
There's conditions for everything.
Yeah, there's-
Again and again and again,
Is it a bad thing for wanting people to come to the truth?
it is a bad thing to force people to stay in something they don't want to be in.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so let me give you an example. I don't want to make it personal. Someone you love is in a room,
Yeah.
is in a house,
Yeah.
there's a fire, there's danger outside. If she goes outside, she's going to be killed.
Yeah.
Is it wrong for you to force her to stay inside?
In those secular worldly senses, no.
Same, likewise.
So-
The religion of Islam wants to save people from entering
But here's what you
hellfire.
admitted.
That's
One
it.
second, here's what you
It's the same
admitted.
premise.
One second, here's what you admitted. Is it right to force them to stay?
To stay, not to
Thank you.
enter.
So you force them to stay. So that is compulsion in religion. Does the Quran say let there be no compulsion in religion?
can I
Or
force
does
you
it
to
say
become Muslim?
does it say let there be some compulsion in religion? What does the Quran say?
No, that's linguistics. And this is what your mistake was earlier. You pick one principle and you forget about the other principle. There's balance. You only like to go on one side. But always, in all of these arguments that you made, there's conditions and there's principles on both. We have to apply them both.
We have better
when you say-
conditions. We have better
When we say there's no compulsion in religion, that means we can't force anyone to become Muslim.
But we can
There's no
force
such
people
thing.
to stay Muslim.
Yes. you
There we
can.
go.
Yeah.
You all heard that?
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
force people to stay
We
Muslim.
want to encourage people to go to
Now,
Jannah. We don't want to encourage
is that
people to go to
compulsion in
Jannah.
religion?
We want to make it easier.
Is that
for people to
compulsion in
enter
religion?
paradise.
Is that compulsion in religion?
That's not compulsion into entering.
Is it compulsion in religion?
It's not compulsion to enter religion.
Is it compulsion in religion? Is the religion of Islam intrinsically compulsive to those that want to leave?
So whereas you want to leave, yeah, fine.
There we go. So we see that Islamic practice contradicts the Quran. The hadiths contradict the Quran.
It's two different contexts.
Did you say
one is entering and one is leaving? Are they the same context? No. So it's not
they're
contradiction.
both compulsion?
It's the context.
They're both compulsion though.
But are they the
So
same
compulsion
context?
is right in one
Okay, I'll give you
circumstance but not another.
okay,
No, I got your
No.
example.
Okay.
I got your
The
example.
Prophet sort of
No, I got your examples. No, I don't need an example. I got your
Prophet-
example.
Okay, let me try.
No, I got your examples.
But you're not understanding it.
No, I
'cause you're
did get
picking one.
but
You're only picking one principle.
Bro,
It's like you're ignoring
it
half.
doesn't
It's like you're
reconcile the
ignoring-
contradiction.
It does.
No, it
It's
doesn't.
the context.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, let me give you an example.
Go on, explain. Wait.
The Prophet
Here's the
sallallahu alaihi
contradiction.
wasallam-
Explain the contradiction. The contradiction is the Quran says let there be no compulsion in religion, but the hadith say compel people to stay in the religion. Reconcile the contradiction.
So the context
Yep.
is you're not allowed to force anyone to enter the religion.
Right.
So there's no compulsion in religion. That's where it fits.
Okay.
The other side is you're supposed to encourage people not to leave the religion.
Okay.
That is two different contexts. Completely different context. Entering and leaving, they're not the same. You
Others
agree?
might just call that a mafia.
You agree? No, do you agree? Are they the same context?
No. We're talking because we're talking
They're
about
not
the
same
action.
context. They're different
We're talking about the same
Likewise.
action.
Okay, but this is my point. For you to understand Islam, you have to understand it in the way that it's taught, not in the way that you think it is.
No, one
So
second.
I give you an example, another clear
No,
example.
hold on one second.
There's
I've
a
got your
hadith-
example and I've
there's a-
listened to you.
okay, okay.
I've got
I
your
haven't
example
finished. I
and I
haven't
listened to you.
I haven't finished.
I've got your example and I listened to you. The
If you
problem
want to
that
cut
you
me off,
have.
that's fine, but I haven't finished.
That's fine. The problem that you have.
Then there's no point discussing. You're not going to let me talk.
Bro,
you have to let me
what
talk until I finish.
What example
I'll give you an example.
reconcile the contradiction?
I've
There should
already
be no
explained that.
compulsion in religion, but we're going to compel you to stay.
I've already explained there's two different contexts. Just like the statement, the Prophet ﷺ said, when you go to the bathroom, when you relieve yourself, you should sit down. Okay? But there's other hadiths showing that he stood up and he relieved himself at the same time.
You know what that demonstrates? Muhammad never kept his own religion.
No, it's called context. In this context, when there's a clean environment, you're supposed to sit down. When there's a dirty environment and sitting down will make you more dirtier, then you stand up. Two different contexts.
Okay, we get the context argument.
Leaving and
Now let me explain why it doesn't work. So his argument is based upon context, that we can do the same action that is prohibited, we can do an action that is prohibited in a different context. Does that apply to
If you're
drinking?
dying, you can eat pork.
Does that apply to not performing salah? Does that apply to not paying the zakah? Does that apply to not saying the shahada? Does that apply to the 5 pillars of Islam?
It applies to everything.
So all of the 5 pillars of Islam are conditional.
Whenever there's a certain circumstance,
Yep.
you can forego what you have to do. For example, if you can't pray standing up, you're allowed to pray sitting down. If you can't pray sitting down, you're allowed to pray laying down. If you're ill, you don't have to
Brilliant.
fast. If you're
1 second.
If you're broke, you don't have to give charity. Everything
1
has
second.
conditions.
1 second. What about saying the shahada? Can you become a Muslim without saying the shahada?
Yeah, you think in your head.
So you do say it in your head.
You have to accept it. Yes.
Right. So you're.
But if I force you say something blasphemous,
if
then it wouldn't
I'm sorry,
count.
but if a text says there's no compulsion in religion,
Yeah, in this country.
Yeah, right, if there is no compulsion in religion, there is a principle within Islam that if a hadith contradicts the Qur'an, which do you believe? The Qur'an. So the Qur'an says no compulsion in religion, but the hadith say compel people to stay. If you were consistent to your own logic, you would. If you were consistent to your own logic, you would override the hadith based upon the Qur'an.
Did I make this up? Let me drop it. Or was this taught in Islamic schooling?
Yeah. This is what I mean. Islam is full of contradictions.
No, it's not full of context. It's full of context. So there's more than when words have more than just their linguistic meaning, their literal meaning. So if I say to you, my hands are tied, it doesn't mean my hands are literally tied. It might mean I'm busy. Words have context. All words, every word has context.
No compulsion
I
in
can
religion
say,
sounds pretty absolute.
I can call you a dog, and I can mean it in a friendly way, like yo dog, what's up? Or I can say you're a dog. Context. Same word. But that's how words work. Linguistic works is you have meaning and context. So when the Quran says no compulsion in religion, it's talking about entering the religion.
But it is compelling. It is compelling.
Is it something that you
It's
can't
compelling.
understand, or you just don't?
No, because what you're missing.
Because my religion
I
doesn't
listen to
teach.
you.
My scholars, they don't say.
I'm sorry,
they
bro,
don't teach it the way you.
I'm sorry. If a religion,
teaching it the way you're
if a
trying to
religion says we're going to force you to stay, everyone with a rational mind would say that is compulsion.
Context.
That is compulsion.
Wagwan, dog. Wagwan, dog.
And if a religion says no compulsion in religion, it doesn't mean some compulsion in a religion. It means no compulsion in religion. What you're really saying
And that's
is that the Quran
understanding of
should
words.
have said, let there be some compulsion in religion. Some compulsion in religion. So now the Quran is guilty of not being clear. So my arguments against Islam are now threefold. 1, it is morally unjust. 2, it is logically contradictory. 3, the Quran itself is not clear guidance. But wait, doesn't the Quran say that it's clear guidance?
If you want to believe that, that's fine. But this is not what Islam teaches, and this is not what the Quran brings to teach. If you want to take it,
What have we established?
That
there is compulsion in Islam.
And you're picking one principle.
Wait, hold on.
You're picking one context.
You're saying Islam
So this
doesn't
is
teach
what
it.
I'm saying. Yes.
I argued
If you
that
go to
Islam
a madrasa,
compels people to stay,
if you
and
go
you
to a
agreed with me.
school-
So where am I wrong?
If you go to a school, they will teach you the contents of everything.
I have
You
argued
have not
that Islam
done that,
compels
and you're
people
picking one
to
angle.
stay in the religion, and you agreed with me. So I'm not wrong.
You are wrong because it doesn't force you into the religion.
It compels you to stay, which is the equivalent of forcing you to be.
If you think forcing and staying is then the fine.
If I force you to stay as something, I am forcing you to be something.
With a knife and I say that you can't go. Is that me? Is that no compulsion? Or is that me?
Yeah, we've already tried this argument. Yeah. So for those of you that are listening,
Wait,
for those of you that are listening, I am objecting to compelling people to stay in the religion.
You're picking something and you're choosing one context
Yes, and it's
saying
wrong.
that's overriding.
It's wrong.
Yes, you are wrong.
It's wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah, the compelling people to.
Your education in Islam is wrong.
Because logically you're flawed.
I'm sorry.
You're logically you're flawed. Let me explain. Bro. It's just going to avoid my point.
No, I'm not.
Stay.
Bro, no, bro. I'm talking. If you compel someone to stay as something, you are compelling someone to be something. So you are compelling them into the religion. Your distinction makes no logical sense. If I force you to stay a Muslim, I am forcing you to be a Muslim. And you're trying to get out of this through a logical inconsistency.
You as a Christian man, can
Hagia Sophia is a mosque. Hagia Sophia is a mosque. And it's gonna stay a mosque.
Sorry, I was distracted. Say again.
You as a Christian man, within my religion, am I allowed to force you to become Muslim?
No. But you haven't won the argument. You've just dodged the point. Let me express the point to you again because you missed it.
Okay,
you missed
maybe
it.
we miss each other.
Let me express it again. If you force someone to be something, so if you force someone to stay as something, you're forcing someone to be something. So you are forcing them to be Muslim. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, fine, I agree with you. Can I force
Thank you
to be
very
Muslim?
much. So you can force me to be Muslim if I don't want to be Muslim.
Ah,
I win.
okay. That's it. Case closed.
Our religion is better than Islam. This is the point I'm making.
Obviously.
We can do better than Sharia law.
That's right.
We can do better than Sharia law. As demonstrated. Logically it's better, morally it's better.
You agreed that you should encourage people to the truth, right?
Bro, you basically stood there and said that it was right to treat Christians legally under the law as non-equivalents to Muslims.
Should you encourage people to the truth?
Yes. But you don't have to discriminate.
When I'm discriminating,
You don't have to discriminate.
When you have a child and you tell it off.
Do you agree?
When you have a child.
Do you
and
agree?
you tell that child off. Are you being bad for doing something
One
bad?
second.
For doing something
That's
bad?
not discrimination, though, is it? That's not discrimination.
That's the same
But
thing.
we're not talking about children.
I don't want you to go
we're
to
talking
hell.
about
I
we're
want you
talking
to go
about
to
citizens.
paradise.
So what you've got, bro,
Same thing.
guys, you've got someone who
I want you
wants
to be
Christians
saved.
to be
Okay.
treated differently than Muslims legally. He wants Muslims to be superior in law to every Christian, to every Jew, to every non-Muslim. And yet, if we stand up to this despicable, inhuman ideology, what will he accuse? He will say you're an Islamophobe.
Yeah.
That's what he'll say. So when we discriminate against Muslims,
Yeah.
it is Islamophobia.
Ah, okay.
But when Islam teaches Christophobia,
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine.
Boom.
Now, hold on 1 second.
Boom.
1 second. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Because here's the thing. I agree we can encourage people to the good. But you do not have to discriminate. You can create laws that encourage the good, that treat everybody the same. He is saying, let's create laws that discriminate against Christians and Jews and Muslims and non-Muslims.
Is it possible for a judge to waive off any punishment?
Yeah, of course. What have you proven though?
It's an option.
How does that deal with my thesis?
Some children, you have to be nice to them, and some children, you have to tell them off sometimes.
We're not talking about children, we're talking about citizens in a state.
Yes.
Not children in a
We're talking
family.
about love in a family.
Love
I
in a
love
family.
you, and I want you to become
But because
saved.
I am a Christian, I
want
should
you
be
to become
punished.
saved.
But because
Where'd you get punished?
Because he talked about.
Where'd you get punished?
What did he say about
Where'd you get
children?
punished?
What did he say about children? Discipline? Is discipline punishment?
Is it bad?
No, discipline is a good thing.
Okay.
In a family.
Okay.
Equality in law
When,
is good statescraft.
When is a Muslim allowed to punish a Christian?
So, let's be clear. He is trying to
Forget breaking
defend.
the law. Forget breaking the
He's
law.
trying to
When is a Muslim allowed
defend.
to punish a
He's
Christian for
trying
no
to
reason?
defend discriminating against Christians in law. Put your hand up if you're a Christian and you want to live as a second-class citizen in an Islamic culture.
No. Boo.
Now let's ask a better question. I'm going to ask all the Christians here.
Yeah.
Who wants to create a legal system that will discriminate against him because he's a
Why
Muslim?
would you be
No.
a second
Boo.
No. So
No one.
Christianity is morally better than Islam.
Why would you be a second class?
Christianity is morally better than Islam.
Perfect.
No, in a
Sin
Muslim.
of yours.
In a Muslim country.
You be treated
Why
equally.
would no? I will hug you. I will bring you to my house and give you food. I will not treat you any different.
I will hunt you. Sound a bit ominous. Not pray,
I
bro.
said I will hug you.
Oh, right,
I'll give
fair
you
enough.
food. I'll give
All
you
right.
water.
You know about a Muslim country. You're not from a Muslim country. You're English, right?
I'm gonna close.
Wrap up, Bob.
Basically, as we have seen from this very honest and sincere Muslim,
But you have to be a kettle to.
Yeah.
is that Islam teaches legal discrimination against Christians, which means every Christian now has a choice. Do you accept that or do you stand against it? It says in scripture, this is what it says in scripture.
Hello, Bob.
In Isaiah 59, now Yahweh saw, and it was displeasing in his sight, that there was no justice. And he saw that there was no man, and was astonished that there was no one to intercede.
Okay.
Then his own arm brought salvation to him, and his righteousness upheld him. He put on righteousness like a breastplate, and a helmet of salvation on his head. And he put on garments of vengeance for clothing, and wrapped himself with zeal as a mantle. According to their deeds, so he will repay. Wrath to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the coastlands he will make recompense. So they will fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun.
Okay.
For he will come like a rushing stream, which the wind of the Lord drives. A Redeemer will come to Zion, and to those who turn from transgressions in Jacob, declares Yahweh, so that justice may flow like a river. That is your alternative.
Praise the Lord.
Christianity or Islam. Legal discrimination against Christians, Jews and non-Muslims, or equality under the law, which emerged from a Christian worldview.
Exactly.
Jesus said,
Praise the Lord.
when he was asked, upon which law does the law of Moses hang? He said that you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind and with all your strength, and you shall love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Amen.
Which means that the rights that I want for myself are the rights that I want for a Muslim, or a Hindu, or a Sikh, or an atheist. And Jesus said, upon these two laws, all the laws of Moses hang. That is a Christian principle of law, and that is why we have equality under the law in the West. It does not matter about your religion, the law should treat you the same. But as we've just demonstrated in over 40 minutes of conversation, this honest Muslim was defending the idea that Jews and Christians and non-Muslims should be treated differently in the law, so that their lives are not equal. Their lives literally are not equal. The compensation for murder is not the same. 50,000 if you're a Muslim, 25,000 if you're a Christian. He defended that. The idea that if you kill a Muslim, if a Muslim kills a Muslim, the right is that you kill the Muslim murderer. But if a Muslim kills a Christian, the Christians cannot demand the execution of the Muslim. So their lives are valued differently. Make your choice. The legal principles of a secular Christian state, or this aberration, this abomination, this backward 7th century discriminatory legal code called Sharia law. The choice is simple. If you allow the Islamists to impose Sharia law, that is the end result. And we Christians have 1400 years of history that would exemplify that and demonstrate it.
Thank you, Bob.
God bless.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob.